Hello, everyone. Today, we're unraveling a mystery that affects 1 in every 2,000 people, a condition that can make you fall asleep at the most unexpected moments, like during a conversation or even while driving. It's called narcolepsy, and it's not just about being tired. This neurological disorder turns lives upside down, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why it's so much more than excessive sleepiness. We'll explore its symptoms, causes, treatments, and real-life impacts with a few surprises along the way. So, buckle up, stay awake, and let's dive into the world of narcolepsy. Imagine this. You're laughing with friends, and suddenly your knees buckle, and you collapse to the floor, fully conscious but unable to move. Or you're sitting in a meeting, and an overwhelming wave of sleepiness hits you out of nowhere. That's the reality of narcolepsy, a chronic neurological disorder that disrupts the brain's ability to control sleep-wake cycle. Unlike normal tiredness, narcolepsy causes excessive daytime sleepiness, or EDS, where people can't stay awake no matter how hard they try. It's like the brain flips a switch, plunging you into sleep or dreamlike states at the worst possible times. Narcolepsy isn't just about dozing off. It's a complex condition with symptoms that can feel like something out of a sci-fi movie. Curious about what those symptoms are? Let's find out. Narcolepsy comes with a classic set of symptoms, often called the Tetrad, but not everyone experiences all 4. First up is excessive daytime sleepiness, or EDS, the hallmark that affects everyone with narcolepsy. Picture falling asleep mid-sentence or during a meal. These sleep attacks hit fast and hard, leaving you no choice but to succumb. Next is cataplexy, a jaw-dropping symptom where strong emotions like laughter or anger trigger sudden muscle weakness. You might slur your speech, drop your head, or even collapse, all while fully awake. Then there's sleep paralysis, where you wake up unable to move or speak, trapped in your body for seconds or minutes. And finally, hypnagogic or hypnopompic hallucinations, vivid, dreamlike visions that blur the line between sleep and reality. Sounds intense, right? These symptoms can make everyday life a roller coaster. Let's dig into what causes this chaos. So, what's behind this sleep-wake havoc? The culprit often lies with a brain chemical called hypocretin, or orexin, which helps keep you alert and regulates muscle tone. In narcolepsy type 1, nearly all the neurons producing hypocretin are destroyed, likely by an autoimmune process where the immune system mistakenly attacks these cells. Why? Scientists suspect infections, like a cold or flu, might trigger this in genetically susceptible people. There's even evidence linking a specific flu vaccine, Pandemrix, used in Europe in 2009, to a spike in narcolepsy cases. Narcolepsy type 2, on the other hand, doesn't involve cataplexy and may have normal hypocretin levels, but its causes are less clear, possibly partial hypocretin loss or impaired signaling. Genetic factors like the HLA-DQB 10602 gene also play a role, but the full puzzle remains unsolved. Isn't it wild to think your immune system could turn against your brain like that? Let's explore the 2 types of narcolepsy next. Narcolepsy isn't one size fits all. It comes in 2 flavors, type 1 and type 2. Type 1, affecting about 20% of cases, includes cataplexy and low hypocretin levels. Those sudden muscle weakness episodes, that's type 1's calling card. Type 2, which makes up the majority, involves excessive daytime sleepiness without cataplexy, and hypocretin levels are usually normal. But here's the twist. Some people with type 2 later develop cataplexy, shifting their diagnosis to type 1. Both types can include sleep paralysis and hallucinations, but type 1 tends to be more severe. Diagnosing the difference often requires a spinal tap to measure hypocretin or sleep studies to catch abnormal REM patterns. Want to know how doctors figure this out? Let's talk diagnosis. Diagnosing narcolepsy is like solving a detective case. Tree-6 time and precision because symptoms mimic other conditions like depression or sleep apnea. Doctors start with your medical history, asking about sleep patterns and symptoms like sudden collapses or hallucinations. A key tool is the polysomnogram. an overnight sleep study that monitors brain activity, breathing, and muscle movement. This is followed by the multiple sleep latency test, or MSLT, where you take 5 20-minute naps 2 hours apart. If you fall asleep in less than 8 minutes on average and enter REM sleep in at least 2 naps, narcolepsy is likely. For type 1, a lumbar puncture to measure hypocretin levels can seal the deal. Levels below 110 pg/ml scream type 1. The catch? Diagnosis often takes 5 to 10 years because narcolepsy is so misunderstood. Shocking, right? Let's see how it's treated. There's no cure for narcolepsy, but don't lose hope. Treatments can transform lives. Medications like modafinil or armodafinil are often the first line, boosting wakefulness with fewer side effects than older stimulants like Adderall. For cataplexy, sodium oxybate, taken at night, helps regulate sleep and reduce episodes, though it's tightly controlled due to safety concerns. Antidepressants can also tame cataplexy by stabilizing emotions. Beyond meds, lifestyle changes are key. Think scheduled naps, a consistent sleep schedule, and avoiding caffeine or heavy meals before bed. Imagine the relief of regaining 80% of your normal function with the right plan. But what about the emotional toll? Let's talk about living with narcolepsy. Living with narcolepsy is no walk in the park. Imagine the fear of falling asleep while driving or the embarrassment of collapsing during a laugh. Narcolepsy can strain relationships, derail careers, and lead to depression or anxiety, especially since many cases go undiagnosed for years. Obesity is also common, possibly tied to hypocretin loss, adding another layer of challenge. But here's the inspiring part. With treatment and support, people with narcolepsy can thrive. They learn to manage triggers, like avoiding intense emotions to prevent cataplexy, and lean on communities for support. Safety is critical. Driving restrictions are often necessary until symptoms are controlled. Ever wondered how this condition affects kids? Let's find out. Here's a heartbreaking twist. Narcolepsy often strikes in childhood or adolescence, with symptoms appearing as early as age 7. Kids might be mislabeled as lazy or unmotivated when they're battling sleep attacks or hallucinations. In children, cataplexy can look different. Think cataplectic facies, where their face droops or they stick out their tongue without an emotional trigger. Diagnosing kids is tricky since they rarely show all 4 classic symptoms, and delays can harm their school performance and social life. Treatments like sodium oxybate are helping, but pediatric narcolepsy is understudied, leaving families desperate for answers. Isn't it wild that a child could face such a grown-up disorder? Let's look at its broader impact. Narcolepsy doesn't just affect sleep. It reshapes lives. It increases the risk of car accidents, falls, and workplace errors, making safety a top concern. Socially, it can isolate people, as friends or colleagues may not understand why you're dozing off or collapsing. About 50% of cases go undiagnosed, meaning thousands struggle in silence. In the U.S., narcolepsy affects roughly 1 in 2,000 people, with type 1 being 2 to 3 times more common than type 2. Globally, prevalence varies, but underdiagnosis is universal. The good news? Research like that at Stanford Center for Narcolepsy is uncovering new treatments and even exploring hypocretin-based therapies. Excited for what's next? Let's wrap this up. Wow, what a journey through the world of narcolepsy. From sudden sleep attacks to dreamlike hallucinations, this disorder is a complex puzzle, but it's not unbeatable. With proper diagnosis, medications, and lifestyle changes, people with narcolepsy can reclaim their lives, turning chaos into control. If you or someone you know struggles with excessive sleepiness or strange sleep symptoms, don't wait. See a sleep specialist. Knowledge is power, and understanding narcolepsy is the first step to managing it. If this video opened your eyes, give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who needs to hear this, and subscribe for more health insights. Drop a comment below. Have you or someone you know faced narcolepsy? Let's keep this conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.